Hey, it's Michelle, but I just thought I would show you something, and I thought the best way to do it would be through this little video, um, because this is an interesting way to look at the work of facial intelligence and the facial acuity sales tactics that I talk about in the FAST method. So I know you're going to be thinking, okay, you're showing us a picture of the Spice Girls here, Michelle. And I am, because what I wanted to do was just show you how, when you look at faces, you can see things that maybe might help you understand why or how someone is coming to you for help and what their face is revealing, that you can reflect back at them so that then they know you truly get what's going on with them and that you are the person who can help them and thus win them over as a client and help grow your business. So say, for example, you are someone and a coach and a client comes to you, or even a team comes to you, and the team looks like this, like the Spice Girls. And there's a very glaring difference in the presentation of these five girls, particularly like this friend of mine who tagged me in this Facebook post about the Spice Girls looking at Posh Spice, so the one on the far right, her face, and that she's not too thrilled, seemingly, about joining up and reuniting with the team. Now, again, this could just be a snapshot in time, and maybe they just caught her in a when she wasn't ready for the photo. But in general, it looks like her face and her posture and her body language are telling you something, that she doesn't really necessarily want to be part of this team again, or she's not thrilled about it. And so some of the reasons are clearly written on her face. Now, I only have a picture of this part of the Facebook post, but there's a little bit of discussion in the comments that goes on and on. And you can find this on my Facebook page if you want to go look for it. But really, what you can see is that if you take a look at not just her body language, so one thing that Pasha's body language is telling you is that she's set apart, she's not happy to be there. But why is the question, or what is causing that feeling to be there? And potentially some of the underlying cause of that is written on her face. So if we take a quick look at, all of these girls here, if we just look at one place on the face, we can start to understand how they think differently, perhaps, than this girl here. So all of these ladies have nice big spaces between their eyebrows. If you notice, if you took, say, a ruler and you measured this, they're pretty sizable, more so than most. And if you look at Posh's, it's in relation to these girls, a smaller space. So say these were like 1.5 inches, I don't even know, and this one is like 3/4 of an inch. That's a sizable difference. And in particular, so this is some of the stuff you would learn in the FAST method course that's part of the program, is you're looking for some key areas on the face that tell you about key places or personality traits or personality tendencies that might contribute to someone's reason for coming to you for help or reason for not being successful at something, especially if you're a coach, a consultant, or a mentor. So just this one part of the face talks to how open someone is to working with a lot of people, to being exposed to big groups, especially in a professional environment. And so the larger the space, the more comfortable someone is working in larger teams, working with more people, working around more people. And so the fact that these four all have a bigger space means that in general, underlyingly, they're more comfortable than Posh is working in a bigger team, working with a bigger team like you would have to do in a reunion, and potentially working around a lot more people with, fans and record producers and all of that. And in general, Posh is not as comfortable, not as innately uh, programmed to be energetically okay with working with a lot of people and or wanting to. So even though she's talented, even though being part of the group might have really served her at a younger time in her life, potentially now this area of the face, especially because it's associated with the decade of, the late of the 30s, later 30s, and moving on later in life, it might be harder for her to want to get back into that environment that can be very stressful, frustration inducing, potentially um, energetic shifting, having energetic shifting consequences for her. And so, for no other reason than that might be why she's feeling set apart or not as thrilled, seemingly, as the other girls to be part of this. Now, her face is saying a lot of other things, and these are things that I can elaborate more on at another time, or that you would definitely get more information about on in within the FAST method framework when you're in that program. But just to understand that, especially if you're coming from the place of a coach, a consultant, or a mentor, and this person shows up in your strategy call and says, I committed to being part of a team and I'm having a really hard time with this, and I'm not sure that I made the right decision, and I really need some help through this. Just by looking at this part of her face, you might begin to be able to shed some light or know in which direction to go with your coaching methodology to help her reconcile being part of that team again, or potentially standing up for herself, or limiting her exposure to lots and lots of people and person-rich work environment as much as possible. And then using the other clues on her face to help her understand her innate personality, why she may be less comfortable than the others and not beat herself up as much, and all of those things that this one place on the face can give you an indication for where you can see the beginning of that underlying issue and then apply your methodology to help her. But in that initial conversation, being able to point this out or recognize this in such a way that she says, "Oh my goodness, I never thought of it that way. You really get me. I think you're the person to help me," will potentially make the difference from her saying yes to using your service and working in a coaching, consulting, or mentoring scenario with you, than if you didn't understand what that information on her face was telling you, and then she wasn't convinced that you were the one to help her. So understanding the messages that faces say can really help us as coaches and consultants and mentors let those people that are coming to us for help know that we truly do see them, and we see the inside of them and what they're expressing on the outside. And in that knowledge that we are able to impart by having strong facial acuity skills, we are then able to be the person who can help close the gaps for our potential clients and increase our business revenue and increase our ability to serve more people. So I hope, even though this is the Spice Girls and it's kind of fun, I hope you can just see how every phase and every scenario can shed some light on what's going on in every scenario to help build your business, build your skills, build your people skills, and help you serve more and grow your business at the same time. So that's all about the Spice Girls. If you have any interesting faces or interesting scenarios that you want some clarity on, by all means, send them my way. Tag me on Facebook or Instagram, or email me, and we can have more of these types of discussions to see how the work can be applied and how it can serve you and serve your potential clients. That's all for now. Talk to you soon. Bye.